Mid-spring, Husn Fulk to Hubyar. I arrived safely in Hubyar. It was not a difficult trip, as it turned out, but it was a little unnerving. I attached myself to a Hubyari caravan that set out home as soon as the siege was lifted. We weaved our way through the canyons of the eastern Jajari escarpment, watering our animals at the village wells. Just south of the village of Mosum, our scouts spotted a group of men in dark cloaks perched on an outcrop blocking our path. According to the caravan guards, these could be none other than the Bani Zalal, the Sons of the Shadows, a criminal brotherhood that haunts these hills, sometimes at peace with the Asari Sultan, but currently at war. Our caravan leader ordered us to backtrack, but the Bani Zalal pursued. We fled, jogging alongside the camels, holding onto their halters for that little extra speed, trying to keep up a good pace without exhausting ourselves. A wind kicked up a dust storm, and at first we hoped they'd lose sight of us. But between gusts we could see those relentless dark figures coming ever closer. Just when it seemed that we were on the edge of exhaustion and could run no more, we heard shouts ahead of us. It was the Emir Tais al-Kildi returning from Husn Fulk. The Bani Zalal fled rather than face his grim Mamluk horsemen. After we caught our breath and given thanks to the heavens, and drunk a bit of water, we set out again in the Emir's wake. A couple of Tais's outriders lagged behind to guide us along, and told us that the Asarai had won a great victory at Husn Fulk. The Imperials had tried to march away, but were trapped against the Nar al-Kal's river and brought to battle. Pelted with darts and arrows, the Imperials had been forced to attack uphill and were soundly beaten. Maybe Attis and his companions escaped. Archers, who aren't likely to be in the main crush of troops, probably stand a better chance of surviving a defeat than most. I hope I don't meet them again. We tagged behind Tais's forces to the gates of Hubyar, and washed away the dust of the journey in the clear spring waters that flowed through stone-cut channels from the nearby cliffs. I then presented myself at Sathan's townhouse to see if the tales of his hospitality were true. Sadly, they were true, but out of date. A servant informed me that the merchant himself was not taking guests, and hurriedly pressed a sealed letter from Istiana and a purse of dinars into my hands. The master had repented of his dissolute ways, the servant said, and had given up wine, dance, and song. Espionage, too, apparently. I heard the full story at the local caravansary. Apparently, one of Sathan's guests had composed a verse mocking the notoriously ill-humored Al-Kildi clan for failing to prevent their daughters from slipping away to spend time with the young men of more fun-loving noble families. Word got out to the Kildis, and they sent soldiers to smash Sathan's wine vessels, beat his dinner guests, and let him know that he'd better get used to a more austere lifestyle. I wrote to Istiana that she may wish to find herself a new informant in Hubyar. I found an inn and tempered my disappointment with a bowl of the local soup, poached eggs, and a mutton broth with copious amounts of fenugreek, vigorously boiled in huge cauldrons so that huge green bubbles of herby froth kept erupting to the surface. Istiana tells me that I will travel next to Kuyaz. She says I will be hosted there by Las Al-Khani, a well-esteemed physician. He is a learned and intelligent man, though a poor host. He is likely to offer me, in place of wine, a concoction of bitter melon and herbs which he insists is good for the circulation of the blood. She said she could not evaluate this claim, but she could attest that it was an effective purgative.